the value of data is 5. So the output is 2, 5. Okay. So an object can call the methods many times, but make sure when you call the methods, you make sure you put the object first. Object dot the name of the method. And another thing you should know, you only can call constructor during the object creation. After that, object cannot call constructor. For example, if you do like this wrong, let's say if you do like this, C1 dot counter, you put 12, not C1, I put C2. Okay, is it wrong or correct? Why wrong? Okay, because some of you might say, okay, counter 12, okay, this is 12, so C2 will get 12, right? So we'll get 12, right? But this is wrong because object can only call counter during object creation, only once in its lifetime, during the object creation. After that, object cannot call counter. This is wrong, even though it looks correct, but it's wrong. Okay, because object can call, constructor is called when you create object, when you have the new keyword. After that, you cannot call. Okay. So this delete. Okay. Okay. Now you save this as obj.java and all files. Save. Okay. Let me run just to show you the output. Type cmd cd program files. Okay, can you tell me the what JDK what then? JDK 1.6 and then O right, CD 1 JDK 1.6.0 underscore 23. Oh, I forgot to put Java program file Java. Okay. Okay, now I compile counter Java. Okay, no error. Okay, can you run counter? Can you run counter.java? Can you run this program? Cannot, this is just a class definition. Okay, now we go back to obj, we try to compile. Okay, can you execute obj? Yes, because it has main. Okay, no error, so I just type Java obj. Sorry, you cannot put, Java obj. Right. There's something on the compiler. No class found. Java. Can you run? Public static void main. Public static void main string RGS. Class obj. Anyone can run? Can run. I think having some problem compiling. What did?
This one is the output.
Oh no, I think you have some mistake here. Public static, no, S capital. S capital. Main, not mail. Main. Okay, try to run. I think the compiler, I think my compiler have some problem. Oh, I think it's capital, right? Yeah. Okay, can you see the output? The value of data is 2, the value of data is 5. Right, 2, 5. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we move to the second part of the question. Okay, now see here. In part 1, you have developed a class program known as counter. Now you are required to write a new class program known as timer, which extends counter class that you have developed in part 1. Okay. Timer will set initial value for data as 0 or any other value determined by the user. Timer also has method display to display the message ring ring when the value of data reaches 100, or display no ring if otherwise. Okay, anyone confused with the question? Okay, I give you 5 minutes to implement counter. This whole thing here. Okay, the first thing that I want you to do is try to determine how many constructors, then how many member methods that you need to include here. How many constructors and how many methods, and also attributes if you need to include. Okay, in part 1 you have developed a class program known as counter. Now you are required to write a new class program known as timer, which extends counter class that you have developed earlier. Timer will, okay, this is very important. Timer will set initial value for data as 0 or any other value determined by the user. Is it overlap or new thing? Overlap, right? You see, timer will set initial value for data as 0. Overlap with first constructor or any other value determined by the user. Overlap with the second constructor. So overlap means don't do it in a subclass, right? So it means you don't need to implement. You just call. Means subclass just call the superclass. Okay, timer also has a method display to display the message ring ring when the value of data reaches 100, or display no ring if otherwise. So how many? One method. Is this overlap? No, right? Display ring ring. It is, okay, this doesn't happen in the superclass, right? This is a new thing. So if you see here, two constructors is already mentioned here, already overlap with the superclass. So the only thing that you need to do is this thing, message method display. But in the superclass, you already have method display, right? You already have method display, but that method name same, but the message is different. So it's not overlap. Okay, it's new thing here. Okay. Okay, so how to write the code? Okay, open Notepad again. Okay, go to Notepad. Okay, put class. Class what? Class? Okay, how to tell the compiler that this class extends counter? Extends, yes. Class timer extends counter, which we already developed earlier. Okay, do you need to include any attributes here? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, if yes means what attribute you need to declare here? A subclass is a class. Timer is a subclass. But do you need to enter or declare any attributes? Okay, if not sure, okay, never mind. Okay, we leave it first. We try to implement the methods, because by implementing the methods, you can discover whether to have an attribute or not. Okay. Okay. Okay, you see here. Okay, this one I told you, these two things is already available in the superclass, right? Okay, timer set initial value for data is 0 or other value determined by the user. It's already there in the first constructor and second constructor of the superclass. So how subclass can invoke that first constructor and second constructor? How? Super, yes. Because earlier I told you three things that subclass cannot call from superclass is what? Private attributes, private methods, and constructor. So you want to call constructor indirectly, can, using super. Okay. Can you call data? Can subclass call data? What? Is private. Okay, it's private. Huh? Now I'll show you how subclass can call the first constructor and the second constructor from the superclass indirectly. Okay. Okay, now you create a constructor here. Okay, what is the name of the constructor? Public timer, not counter, public timer. Okay, now then you then you type another public timer, you put int v. Okay, now I want you to call the first constructor from the parent class. Okay. Okay, now call the second. Okay, I want you to implement these two things. Call the first constructor from the parent class. For this second constructor here, call the second constructor from the parent class. Okay, how? You said super, right? Okay. So try to implement this line. So how you can do this? Okay, here how? So how? Super data. Here super. Okay, this is the answer. Quite simple. Okay, I take out this line, the comment. You see here, okay, this is the constructor of first subclass, right? Okay, inside this first constructor of the subclass, this first constructor of subclass is try to call the first constructor of the superclass, right? Okay, how you know that this is actually referring to this? How you know? Because empty, right? Okay. And how you know that here, this is the constructor, second constructor of the subclass is calling the second constructor of the superclass? How you know? Because one value here, okay, v is here, so you are calling this one, and v, the value of v will be assigned to value here, which will be assigned to data. Okay, so if I put like this, if I put v, so which constructor, first or second, or error? Error, because you don't have constructor in the superclass which have two parameters, either 0 or 1. You don't have 2, so this is wrong. Okay, so this is the way that indirectly calls the superclass constructor. But always remember, you only can call superclass constructor from the subclass using super keyword, and make sure this happens in the subclass constructor. You cannot do this in the member method. Okay, when you want to call superclass constructor, make sure you do it in a subclass constructor. Okay. Okay. Some of you might say, why not use like this? Okay. Why not do like this? Counter V. Can or cannot? Because we say, okay, counter V. One parameter counter. So referring to this one, right? I said cannot because directly subclass cannot call superclass constructor. You know, earlier I told you, directly cannot. Indirectly can by using super. So what you do, you just take out counter, replace with super. Okay, easy, eh? That's it. Okay, and then, so we have done with this. Okay, this is done, eh? Okay, now, timer also has a method display, to display the message ring ring.